Air travel can be either smooth or hectic, and I think it comes down to the accessories that you purchase that can either make or break your time while traveling. Now, although this list is subjected to my personal experience and preference, I do hope this list helps you on your next travel. Although this list may change over time, as of right now, these are my worst and best products I purchased for air travel. First up, neck pillows. These are probably the most crucial accessory that you can buy for any air travel, and if you're a first-time neck pillow buyer, this task may seem really daunting as there's a bunch out there on the market. Before you hit the add to cart button, read the reviews. I have two very different neck pillows here with me that I actually just tried out on my most recent trip. The first up is Sleeper Holder, which was a Kickstarter, which was all the rage due to their innovative design as far as the no-hole neck pillow market. And then I also bought the Aways neck pillow here that was a little bit more premium. Can you guess which one was my regret buy? Well, by far, the Sleeper Holder was the worst purchase I've ever bought. I took this one on my most recent trip to Scotland, and let's just open it up to kind of show you what it is. So this whole thing, the whole spiel of the Sleeper Holder is that it's supposed to hold your head in place attached to the seat, so that way there was no more head bobbling. However, this pillow, upon putting it behind my head and neck, it just made me go forward, and it was really uncomfortable on my neck. The sleep eye mask is supposed to actually be the thing that detains your head back to the pillow and to the seat, and this is supposed to refrain you from doing any head bobbling. These clips just kept unclipping, making this mask completely unusable. And just to point out the build quality of this, there's like a bunch of overstitching over here, a bunch of like thread, loose thread. It seems like it's unraveling already, and this was just out of the box. This thing arrived maybe a week before I left on the trip, so this was literally, I unboxed it, packed it, and went to the airport. And at first, so I never really got to see this until I was at the seat trying to maneuver and set this up, getting ready to sleep. And I just noticed how terrible the build quality is. Now, the material itself, I think the only positive thing I have to say about the Sleeper Holder is that the pillow itself is really nice and soft. But would I ever bring this again on my next air travel? Absolutely not. This one, again, was the absolute worst. I couldn't even properly set it up, again, because like I said, these clasps are supposed to clip onto this right here, that this attaches into the seat, but it kept unclipping, so it was unusable. I wasn't able to even like flip it up just while I'm watching a movie or eating and then hold it back down to then go back to sleep. This just kept popping off, unusable, terrible build quality, very disappointed with this. So I was very proud and happy that I made myself bring two on my most recent trip. I also brought the Away neck pillow. Now on this trip, this was actually the first time I was going to use this one as well. When I bought this, it was on sale, so I never had a really chance to use it out in the real world. But I figured it was on sale. I really like it. It kind of looks like a worm, if you will, but very easy to set up. They have really cool connectors here to close up and clasp on the neck pillow. Once you have it around your neck, it just clips like that. You can adjust each side to your comfort depending on how small or snug or loose you want the neck pillow around your neck. Very easily to detach again, clip. Now you may notice these buttons right here. They're actually, if you purchase the Aways blanket, you can clip it on here, put your neck pillow on, and even mid-flight, your blanket is not going to fall off, so you don't have to worry about that, which is kind of cool. Maybe something in the future that I might purchase. As of right now, any long-haul flights, they provide you blankets, so I'm not entirely sure if it's worth taking up space, money, to bring my own blanket. I'm not really typically cold on airplanes either. I'm more on the hot side. So with any sweater that I have on for shorter trips that don't offer a blanket, I think I'm okay. But if you are one that wants to have a blanket, this is pretty cool because if you purchase both the neck pillow and Aways blanket, you can attach it and you'd be set to go. Now next up is probably the smallest accessory you can purchase to make any of your tech that you're bringing along on your trip very easy. It's going to be these USB to USB-C adapters. Now this pack, very inexpensive by the way, comes with a variety of different form of adapters. So we even have Lightning to USB-C. We have USB-C to USB, like you can input a USB and then have an output of USB-C, and then obviously vice versa. The main one that I think was a must-have for me, one of my top favorites accessory, is this one, is the USB-C to USB port. As of right now, even though a lot of tech is becoming more USB-C, when it comes to public or more common charging stations such as airports, hotels, trains, buses, they're still USB. Now, instead of having to carry around multiple cables or even purchasing new cables for your tech that are already USB-C, just buy these. Again, this pack was very inexpensive. It's small enough to where you can just stuff this in a little pouch and you can have some peace of mind knowing that your cables that you already have and like and use are usable depending on the ports that you may have available to you. The one that I used the most abroad over the last 2 weeks was this one, the USB-C to USB. This was great being able to use my Anchor cables, Nomad cables that are all USB-C, but being able to charge on the train. I took several trains while I was in Scotland to London, as well as on the airplane. Everything is still USB. So again, very inexpensive, small little thing that just kind of made my travel a lot easier. So I bought this Bellroy duffel from their light collection. Now before I begin, I love this duffel, but for air travel specifically, never again will I be bringing this when I have to travel via the airplane. Now this was just meant to be a gym bag or an everyday kind of bag, so it has no padding. It's not really meant to be overstuffed, and obviously it does not have a luggage pass-through, which I thought I was clever enough to kind of work around and buy a luggage strap off of Amazon. But when I had this packed and on top of my luggage, when I was going over cobblestones, up the hill, pulling, this bag just kept falling off. So the whole strap thing that I bought off of Amazon was utterly useless. And so when I took this off to carry it on me, again, because it's not made as a weekender or an actual travel duffel, there's no padding. Now, yes, again, this is going to be all subjective. For me, duffels are just a no-go. It wasn't comfortable walking around trying to get from the train to the hotel, which was quite a distance when this is heavy. For me, a more comfortable experience is a backpack. So once again, for me personally, a backpack is just the best solution. Now, duffels, they're beautiful. I like the look of it. It looks a little bit more sophisticated, not necessarily this one, but duffels in general, I like the idea of it, but man, I don't think it's comfortable. So for me, this one was it was a regret that I brought this one for me. Before you go on the comments, why didn't you just bring a backpack? I did bring a backpack. I packed away one of my backpacks that I bought a little while ago, so it's fine. But I really hoped, because I was able to fit more stuff in the duffel versus my backpack, that this would work out. But again, it just was really cumbersome, not comfortable at all for travel. And I know this wasn't marketed for travel. Again, for me, duffels, it just wasn't it. Now, let's talk luggage. Expensive versus inexpensive. I think I paid like $50 for this one, probably at TJ Maxx. And then the Monos Carry-On Pro was roughly $2.95. Now, I was hesitant on purchasing the most expensive one, this one right here, because of that big, huge price difference. I figured, is there really a difference? Right off the bat, as soon as we got to the airport, I had my Monos packed up. I had the duffel, which was like packed up as well, on top of it, sitting on top of with the handle, and just walking on the airport through security, things like that, was game changer. The fact that I don't have to stress out my forearm and wrist with the cheap luggage, I had to always force to roll it next to me. Something about it just kept wanting to drift off into a different direction, and the Monos just glided with me as I walked. I literally just had to place my hand on the handle and whoop, let's go. And that right there, immediately I was like, this was worth the almost $300. Like, that right there was amazing. So now the real test began when we actually got to our destination. Again, a lot of cobblestone, terrible gravel or roads that just weren't smooth whatsoever, as well as uphill. And then I had the pack really heavy. Flawless. I loved it. Nothing broke during my whole trip, which was great because I pulled and tugged on that luggage to get through all of the different types of terrain, in grass, in dirt. I put it through its paces, and it was fantastic. I wish I bought something like this a lot sooner during my travel, as I've traveled quite a bit so far, but man, it's worth the money, it's worth the hype. So if you're one that's wanting to start to traveling, especially abroad on airplanes, do yourself a favor and purchase yourself a good quality suitcase. Not necessarily monos or anything like that, but there's monos, away, there's a lot of different options. Just get yourself one that's a good quality. You won't regret it. Just comparing my experience, the way that I had while in the airport with my luggage compared to my parents, they still had their very old luggage that they purchased under like $100 years ago. Theirs would sometimes fall forward, it would go out to one side, the handle was already really wobbly or wouldn't stay in the position that you wanted that was more comfortable. And just right that all that tedious, it was like, it was not worth saving that money. For me, it was just worth it having a smooth experience. Being able to walk with your suitcase next to you or pulling it was well worth the money. Now I can go into a lot more detail on a lot more products, but I kind of wanted to point out the top 3 most favorite and worst products right before the holiday travel season approaches. So I do hope that this video helped you, and I'll see you guys on the next one.